Hey everyone, it's your girl Jade Alycia here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys my brand story, how I started my namesake label brand, and sort of my journey from then until now. So if you guys are interested in seeing that and learning more about how I started my online brand, keep watching this video. Hi! Oh my goodness, it's so exciting to see all of you. I know I haven't been on here in a while, but I am back and welcome to my channel, the Unjaded Journal, where I talk about fashion, beauty, and business. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my brand story for my fashion brand and sort of how I got started, when I got started, and what I do like today, now, in the present to maintain my brand's presence. So I started my namesake label, which is Jade Alycia Inc. in 2016 after I took a trip to Paris. And that was my first time going abroad, and I was super excited. Prior to that, well, to give you guys a little bit of background, I was actually in college, in my last year in college, and I had applied to a fashion program that was really selective, and I believe it was the first time they had ever done this fashion program at the college I was at, and it was for fashion students who wanted to study Paris fashion and then actually travel abroad for about a week during spring break and experience the culture over there. So I have always wanted to go to Paris. I've always marveled at the Eiffel Tower and just the people, the fashion, the culture, like everything about Paris, the food I've always loved. And so I really wanted to go, and I was like, I have to get into this program. So I applied to the program, I was accepted. We studied a lot of the Parisian culture, their food, different things that they would do, their fashion, the historical background of the fashion. But at the same time, I was also taking French. So I've always loved French. I was never really like a person that wanted to learn Spanish, but French was always the language that I wanted to learn. So I ended up taking, I believe, 2 semesters of French, and I was on my second semester this time. So I was getting better at speaking French. Like, I was able to speak full sentences, have conversations, like really communicate with people in French. And I guess I can say something in French. So bonjour, je m'appelle Jade, and that just means hi, my name is Jade. So that's just a little French tidbit for you guys. But yeah, I was learning to just really speak in French and really get good at it. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I have the opportunity to actually go to Paris, which was like, what? Mind blowing. So, fast forward to actually going to Paris. When we got there, we actually, during our stay there was Haute Couture Paris Fashion Week. And if you guys are not familiar with it, like, in the fashion industry, Haute Couture Fashion Week is like the best of the best, like the most epic, legendary fashion houses make these over the top, elaborate, completely impeccable designs and put on a show. And Paris, France, actually is known for couture. Like, that is the home of couture. They have a whole couture federation council, sort of like we have here in the States, of the fashion council, but over there they have a whole like couture council, and you have to, in order for a brand to be a part of that, they actually have to apply and be accepted and live up to certain standards that they have in order to maintain their title with Paris, like the confederation, the couture federation. So I was so amped because I always watch the runway shows, the Paris runway shows, and I watch the Milan ones too, but the Paris ones, there's just nothing like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, like Fendi is definitely more Milan, but there's definitely nothing like the Paris shows. Oh my gosh, like, I was just screaming from the inside internally because I was just so excited to finally be having a plane ticket to Paris, going to Paris, and oh my goodness. So I went, and amongst everything I loved so much, but what really stood out to me was the street style fashion, like outside the shows, because the shows were going on. And it's so crazy because a lot of places that I ended up going during my stay in Paris were places where they were either planning the shows or they had just had the shows, so they were very like buzzworthy areas, and people were still going and taking photos and standing outside the shows trying to talk to people. There were fashion show tents, and so I went there and I was just so enamored by the fashion. Oh my gosh, the fashion in Paris, guys, is, first of all, it's light years ahead of us in the States, because literally the trends start there and then they come to us like 2-3 years after the fact. So everything that we're wearing now here in the States, and I always say this, but like we are so behind. Like the trends are definitely over there in Europe, UK, France, all of that. So I just loved the clash of the couture like pieces that people would wear, but then it'd be on the street. And maybe I could pop a couple photos up here of like inspo, and you can definitely check me out on Pinterest. Jade Alycia Inc is my Pinterest account, and you'll see I have a Paris fashion street style board. I have a Milan street style board, New York. I have another one, a couple different locations of fashion street style boards that you guys can check out on there, so you can see the differences in how they style it. But the Paris one just like took me over the moon. Like I just loved the Paris clash of couture, high-end beaded gorgeous garments, and then on the street, making it street style, making it cool, making it edgy, making it trendy, right? So that was really what I took from that trip. So when I came back from Paris, which I didn't really want to, because like I low-key wanted to stay there because it was just so like, it's so different from the States. Like I can't even formulate it into words. It's just an experience that you have to definitely experience in life, as well as going to like their landmarks and everything. Like I went to the Eiffel Tower, I went to Arc de Triomphe, I went to the Champs-Élysées. Maybe I'll do a whole separate video about my trip to Paris and kind of just remembering it and showing you guys video clips. I'll definitely do that. Put that in the comments if you guys want to see like a little flashback of my trip to Paris. I would love to do a YouTube video of that. So anyway, when I came back from Paris, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like the push that I needed to just launch me into not only starting my brand, my namesake label, Jade Alycia Inc, but I also started my other businesses soon after that, which kind of was a domino effect. But at the same time that I launched my namesake label, I also launched the Unjaded Journal right here. So my first blog post, if you guys go on the unjadedjournal.com, it's actually discussing this trip to Paris that I'm talking about right now, and my full experience and pictures and all the fun that I had there and different things that I felt and reflected on. So if you are interested in diving a little bit more deep into my Parisian trip before I actually make the video, definitely check out my blog post on the unjadedjournal.com. So once I came home, I was just so inspired, and I was just drawing and writing and thinking of just different ideas that I could bring to fashion and really contribute to the industry, but also stand out and be different and not necessarily do what everyone else does. Like a way that I could stand out and do it and be original, right? So the first thing that came to my mind was, I always had, like when I was in school, I learned so much about how the fashion industry wastes so much and creates so much environmental harm, from the dyes, the fabrics, the manufacturing, the byproducts, like all of that. And so I really wanted to make fashion that was cool, that was trendy, that was fun, but also that helped with the sustainability factor of our industry and sort of like transform that waste from the industry into something that's renewable, that's amazing, that's covetable, you know? So honestly, at first I thought I was going to be designing like elaborate gowns, like typical couture shows, you'll see elaborate gowns and pieces that are heavily beaded, because that's what I really loved and I was always drawn to, and I was so passionate about those pieces. They were just literally works of art in themselves. So I personally thought that like I was going to be making those. And what I began to find out as I started doing that, in the beginnings of my brand. So let me back up for a second. I came home from Paris, I launched my brand, but it really wasn't what you see today at Jade Alycia Inc. It was more like a combination of everything that I wanted to do. It was fashion, it was beauty, it was my modeling portfolio, it was like everything just mashed in one. It was my blog, it was everything all in once. And it wasn't as organized and as like niche as it is now, as you see today. So I came home, I went through, and the Lord was also pressing me to start my brand actually before I flew to Paris. But what was holding me back is like I was just so scared of like honestly what people would think. I thought no one was going to support my brand, support my vision, nobody would like my stuff. It was basically just fear and different insecurities and self-doubt that I was battling with, that stopped me from launching when I knew I should have. So when I came back from Paris, it was like there's absolutely nothing that's going to stop me from doing this. And in that time, a huge hurdle that I had to overcome was learning how to design a website, because one, I didn't have the money to pay someone, and two, I felt like I couldn't find someone that'd be able to capture my vision of how I want things to look. So that's really where I taught myself how to make my own website and advanced over time. So backtracking back to after I launched my brand, and I was starting to think of designs that I would be able to put on my website and show people what I've made. And so really I put up my school portfolio of the dresses and stuff that I made in school when I was going to school in Boston before I had transferred to the school that I was currently at. And I felt like I loved the end result of the gorgeous gowns, but I dreaded the process. And I'm being completely honest, I dreaded the process because I knew how long it took. I knew how much time, detail, alterations it takes. And I know that me by myself, the manpower I had, there's no way I would be able to fully beat a dress and fully do this and fully do that and do multiple pieces and huge collections by myself, trying to do a seasonal debut. So I began to think, and I was just looking around the house, and honestly I found some materials that I was like, you know what, this could be a handbag, right? And prior to this, which is crazy, you know, I never thought of accessories. When I went to fashion school, I went to fashion school for clothing. And I think that so many people think all fashion is clothing. Many times they forget the accessories, which are key to like really putting together your outfit, really making it pop, really making it look good. Yeah, you can have a cute outfit, but if you don't have the right accessories, your outfit's not coming together looking good the way it should. So I never thought of accessories. And so I had never taken courses on how to make handbags, how to make different accessories for women. I've only learned how to construct garments, how to use fabrics, how to create silhouettes, how to create different fits, different effects with the fabrics. I never had to go outside of that box to think this is a handbag now. You know, you can't use the same materials all the time that you use for handbags as you would for a dress. You know, they have to be more durable. And so it really began turning my wheels. And like I even bounced this idea off my mom. My mom was like, yeah, that's amazing. Like you can make a ton of handbags out of that. And not only that, I felt just like this huge epiphany of what I needed for my brand, like who I was and what I'd be doing as a brand. Like I can make this handbag just as beautiful as those gorgeous couture gowns that go walking down the runway during Fashion Week. I can make this bag just as trendy as the newest pair, newest top or newest two-piece set or newest print that was on a trench coat or something like that. I can make these bags mean just as much to people as those elaborate pieces that designers make, but they're clothes. So I took that concept, I took that idea, and my brain literally just went like, it just exploded with like creativity, and God was just pouring into me like all these ideas, and I would sketch them out and I would write them down. And then I also just started making bags. Like at first it was a test run because I was like, this is an idea, but let me see if I can actually physically make this a bag and make it look good. So the more I did that, the more it like piled on top of each other, and it just became what it is today. Honestly, I went through different stages, different experimentations. First, I just started with handbags. Then, so that was in 2016. I started showing my portfolio, school portfolio. Then I morphed into bags. I stuck with the bags because I love them and I thought it was an amazing concept, and it was just a smaller project for me that I knew I could do multiples of and keep up with. Later on, in Fashion Week, which I could probably do a different video about that as well, I did New York Fashion Week for the first time, and as I did New York Fashion Week, it was so funny. It was right after Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's royal wedding, I did New York Fashion Week. And so that spring summer collection was completely inspired by their wedding, because literally I watched it like 5 times and I was crying every time because it was just so beautiful. And I was just so inspired by the love and the gorgeous headpieces and all the flowers, and just the whole like atmosphere was just so like heavenly. I just wanted to convey that in my accessories in that newest collection. So when I accepted to do New York Fashion Week, I just made my first collection of fascinators. Now, my mom was like, you should make matching fascinators to go with your bags. Like, that would be super cute. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing, right? But then I thought quickly to myself, I was like, but who wears fascinators? No one in the States wears fascinators unless they're like from out of the state, from out of the country, and then like their style still comes here, and so they look for fascinators. But like literally no one here wears fascinators unless they go to the races, or more so down south maybe sometimes. But up here in northern parts, we don't wear those. Like, we literally never see those. So I was like, all right, my market might not be here in the States for those pieces, but I want to go with this vision. So I ran with it. And when I ran with it, I did New York Fashion Week, which was an incredible experience and something I got to mark off my bucket list. I was so happy about that. I just began to build on that, and even further, because the accessories tended to build on themselves. So at first I made the bags, then I made the fascinators to go with the bags. Then I even expanded into jewelry, which is like, I've never made a piece of jewelry in my life, but I saw the vision and I ran with it. And I was like, I'm gonna make matching earrings to go with these bags and these fascinators, and it's gonna be an entire look. Okay, these accessories are gonna be an entire look. And when I did that, I tell you, they've been my best sellers ever since. Like, the earrings, the statement earrings that I make on Jade Alycia are my best sellers. And I was just so amazed, because before I even made the earrings, I was like, I don't even know if anyone's gonna buy this, because I don't know. I know people wear statement earrings, but I don't know if they're gonna purchase mine. What I found was, like, the people that purchased my earrings were like, oh my gosh, I love your earrings, they're so unique, like, I've been looking for that, or I really just love this. Like, I know one girl, she was like, I really just love palm trees and your earrings are so pretty, and I just couldn't not buy them. And so people really love them, and they love the fact that everything that I made was one of a kind, so no one else would ever have it, and it was so special and so unique to them. And so I just continued building my brand. And as I found that one product worked after another, I just kept building on that. And so even to today, I design keychains, I do a whole bridal collection, which is definitely about to debut in the coming days. It'll probably be debuting around the time that I upload this video, so definitely check it out on Jade Alycia Inc on Instagram, Facebook, or you can check it out at jadealycia.com. And I've just expanded so much in my business, what I offer, and just offering more products to my, clients that I love. So really, that is my brand story. I mean, today, like I said, I offer bridal keychains. I've just expanded it into like brooches slash pins, which is such could be such fun and such a new like little adventure to just create. And I still offer the statement earrings. I even expanded into stud earrings like the ones that I'm wearing that come in 13 different colors of the rainbow. They're so pretty. I love them. Such statement studs. And yeah, I've just expanded into so many different areas in my namesake brand now that it's just like, whoa, like what's next? Like I'm just so excited. But I definitely want you guys to take away from me sharing my fashion brand story is that, it's not perfect. And there's never a perfect time to launch your business. I found that in launching several of my own businesses, but there's definitely never like a perfect time to launch. But there is a time that God puts on your heart and presses you to put it out there. And even if you have to put it out there and you still have to make edits to it and make it perfect and make it pretty, it's perfectly fine. We all as entrepreneurs do that. We all as artists have to do that. We have to perfect our craft, perfect our work. But there is a time that He wants you to set it out into the atmosphere. To allow other people to see it. So definitely keep that in mind as you are thinking to launch your brand right now, or even as you are preparing to launch your brand. Definitely keep that in mind. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see my New York Fashion Week experience first or my trip to Paris first for the next video.